Stickbots had always interested me. Ever since I was little, when I saw the Stickbot ad on my TV, my eyes would brighten up. The way their suction cups and their movements were presented always had me very engaged. Unfortunately, I could never buy a Stickbot. When I went to the store with my dad to get groceries, we would always walk past the toy aisle. In the toy aisle, there was always Stickbots. I begged and begged, but I could never convince him to buy me a Stickbot. When I was at school, everyone would make fun of me because I did not have a Stickbot. I always pretended I had a Stickbot at home because I wanted to fit in and be cool. I would say that my Stickbots were too valuable to bring to school. Some believed me at first, but eventually they would stop believing in me. It was hard to keep alive for so long. Plus, at recess, everyone would be playing with their Stickbots, and I would just be all left alone. I had a friend named Alicia. She was the only friend I had at school. She was very kind to me, and thought that the whole Stickbot craze was ridiculous, because Stickbots were just plastic with suction and a face. Even though I never got a Stickbot, I would still always watch Stickbot Central constantly. It was my favorite YouTube channel. Watching the Stickbot show every week and seeing all the crazy stunts and interviews they did, I really liked it. Even though Alicia really did not care for Stickbots, I eventually convinced her to start watching Stickbot Central. She actually started to really like it. Then, on the Monday after school, after the weekend, when I saw her at school, she showed me that she got a Stickbot. I was very happy for her. I secretly was very jealous though, because I'd always wanted a Stickbot, and she had just gotten one. I was happy that I was the one that convinced her. I could tell myself that I'd get credit for it because I introduced her to Stickbots. She brought one of her new Stickbots to school. The transparent pink one. That was the one I really wanted. But as she was showing me her new Stickbot, she said that we should take a look in the upstairs building of the school. I was very puzzled at first. I asked, "Why should we go up there?" She then replied saying, "Oh, silly, you know, where the kindergarten classroom with all the Stickbot is." I had never known that the school had their own Stickbots, or even that there was a kindergarten classroom on the top floor. But I did not ask questions, because I really wanted to play with more Stickbots. So during recess that day, we both asked the teacher if we could go inside to use the washroom. The teacher agreed and we both went inside the school. But of course, we were not actually going to use the washroom. We wanted to make it to the top floor. We began making our way to the top floor, making sure that no one caught us. We climbed 3 flights of stairs and made it up there. I'd never been to this upstairs building before. This was all new to me. The upstairs was quiet and dark. It was very strange. But we began to make our way towards the kindergarten classroom that Alicia was talking about. We walked down the hallway before we got to a door that said, Room 5. Strange. That should be a number 1 floor. We began to open the door. When we opened the door, the room was completely dark. The windows were all covered in black sheets, completely getting rid of any light in the classroom. I asked if this was the right classroom, and she told me it was, and I believed her because I really wanted to play with some Stickbots. We searched the room with the little light we had. As I was looking for a light source to turn on, I began to notice that this did not feel like a kindergarten classroom. The room was very small and had an eerie feel to it. Also, I had the realization that kindergarten should be having lunch right now, when we were having recess. So why is this room not being used? I asked Alicia, but she said that we need to keep looking. We need to find those Stickbots. After a while looking, I heard the bell ring for school. We knew we had to go back to class, but Alicia did not want to leave. I thought for sure after the bell rang that the room light would turn on because it would have to be used, but that never happened. Why is no one using this classroom? I thought. I eventually gave up and told Alicia that I'm giving up, but that is when I saw a Stickbot. I got really excited because I found a Stickbot that I was looking for. From the very little amount of light I had there, I saw that the Stickbot was a dark pink colored one. I had seen a pink Stickbot before, but never a dark pink Stickbot. I wanted to jump and tell Alicia, but I thought I saw something in the room and got scared. A dark shadow. I ran out of the classroom and found an empty and even darker hallway. And I also noticed that I dropped the stick bot along the way, and this hallway had all the lights off. I went to where the stairs was, and again, all the lights were off. All the lights in the stairway were just off. I started to get really scared. I thought that maybe we were having a drill of some sort that I was not aware of. But I looked out one of the classroom windows and saw that it was completely pitch black outside. How could it be so dark? Not too long ago the bell rang for recess. Even though I was very scared, I made my way down the stairs and took the door that leads outside to the playground. My school had one of those doors with locks on it that locks from the outside, but not the inside. I pushed it open and saw a bunch of police officers outside. One of the officers saw me and began to run towards me. I screamed. The police said, "I found the child! I found the child!" I then saw my mom and dad not too long later. They started to both cry and hug me in their arms. I was very confused, because not too long ago school was in session, so why is it now dark outside, and why is there a bunch of police cars everywhere? They told me that after school, the teachers noticed that I was not with them. Then the school contacted my parents, and I was a missing child. A missing child report was put out not too long after that happened. But the city also had a massive power outage at the time, so that would explain why the school was very dark. This all confused me because it was daylight not too long ago. I said, "Me and Alicia were just looking for some stick bots on the third floor." My mom then just said, "Sweetie, remember? Alicia passed away last week. Remember?" I was stunned. "But she was just with me," my dad said. "It's okay. It takes a while to start accepting it." I then began to cry. On my way home, my dad passed me a stick bot. They gave me a stick bot because they were so happy that they found me, because apparently they'd been looking for quite a few hours at the time. Why did they never try to check the school? I thought. The stick bot was already out of the package, but this was a strange stick bot. It was a dark pink stick bot. The same one from the classroom. I just cried. My parents were telling me that it's okay to cry and to be sad. I stayed home from school for the next few days because my parents were worried about me. I never played with that stick bot. I was too confused and sad. The stick bot just sat on my bedside table for days. I eventually got rid of it by putting it in the basement somewhere. My parents were confused because I'd always wanted a stick bot, and now that I had one, I was just gonna get rid of it. I said that I was no longer interested in stick bots. When I came back to school, it seemed that the stick bot craze was over. I sat alone at school for the next few years. I was still very sad about Alicia. When I began to go to high school, I remember that stick bots started popping in my head, and I remember how much I used to like them. I thought about that stick bot that I found in the school, and also the ones that my parents gave me. I began to look up pictures of a dark pink stick bot on Google and was very shocked to see what I saw. A bunch of images with a dark pink stick bot in a grave. I looked at what the title read for the article that the image was posted to, and it said, "Stickbot creator died at the age of 24. The stickbot was made as a grave gift for the burial. I checked this date and it lined up to exactly when I was in the school at nighttime. It lined up to the exact time when I was at the school and when it was nighttime at that school. And when I received my dark pink stickbot from my parents. I began to be really scared. Why did I have that stickbot if it was buried with the stickbot creator? When I got home from school that day, I began to look for that stickbot. I looked and eventually looked in the basement because I remember I put it there. I found an old toy box that my parents made to put all my old toys in. The toys that I don't use anymore. On top of there, my old stickbot was there. The dark pink one. But the stickbot was in a weird condition. It was broken. It was broken in a way that spelled out, "Look behind you." I jumped behind me, and there I saw it. Alicia standing in the basement, looking at me with a dead expression. She then mumbled, "Should always be careful in the room. We were not alone." I then remembered the shadow.